July 19. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. 82,500 fans. Argentina vs. France. The rematch of the greatest final in football history. And when the final whistle blew, after one of the most extraordinary nights sport has ever produced, Lionel Messi lifted the World Cup trophy for a second time, and the world witnessed the perfect World Cup final. Today we break down why this final was the greatest sporting event in history, and why nothing will ever match what happened on July 19, 2026. Chapter 1: The Perfect Storyline. Let's start with the storyline, because no Hollywood scriptwriter could have created anything this perfect. 2022 Qatar, Argentina beat France in the greatest final ever, in a penalty shootout after France scored 3 goals in the final 10 minutes to make it 3-3, with Mbappe scoring a hat-trick and still losing. 4 years later, the exact same two teams, in the exact same format, met again at the World Cup final. France beat Spain in the semi-final on July 14 in Dallas. Argentina beat the winner of Norway vs. England in Atlanta on July 15. And the moment the semi-final results confirmed the final, the entire football world went insane. France vs. Argentina. Mbappe vs. Messi. The greatest rivalry in football. The greatest final ever played. The rematch. On the biggest stage in the world. This is what dreams are made of. Chapter 2. Messi's impossible story. Lionel Messi, 39 years old, at his 6th and final World Cup, had already broken every record imaginable. He scored a hat-trick in his first game against Algeria, becoming the oldest player in World Cup history to score a hat-trick at 39 years and 127 days. He overtook Germany's Miroslav Klose as the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer, breaking the record on June 22 with his 17th career World Cup goal. He scored in every single game of the tournament. Hat-trick versus Algeria, goals versus Austria, Jordan, Cape Verde, Egypt, and then the crucial goals to eliminate each opponent on their path to the final. And here is the most extraordinary part of Messi's story: he scored 2 goals in the final and converted a crucial penalty in the shootout to win the World Cup a second time at 39 years old, at his last World Cup. Back-to-back World Cup winner. All-time leading scorer. 6 World Cups. The GOAT of all GOATs. Messi's story in 2026 is so perfect it sounds impossible, but it happened. Chapter 3: Mbappe's Heartbreak. And then there is Kylian Mbappe, 26 years old, the best player in the world, and the most heartbreaking loser in World Cup history. Mbappe became the first player since 1966 to score 3 goals in a World Cup final, matching Geoff Hurst's legendary hat-trick for England in the 1966 final. 3 goals in a World Cup final. At 26 years old. And he still lost. Mbappe finished as the tournament's top scorer, winning the Golden Boot with 12 goals across the tournament, the most goals scored in a single World Cup tournament since the expanded 48-team format began. But despite everything, all the goals, all the brilliance, all the history, Mbappe had to watch Messi lift the trophy again. Just like 2022. Messi vs. Mbappe, the greatest individual rivalry in football, produced 2 World Cup finals, and Messi won both. The GOAT reigns supreme. Chapter 4: The match itself. Now let us talk about the actual final, because what happened at MetLife Stadium on July 19 was absolutely incredible. France and Argentina, 2 teams who had both shown throughout this tournament that they had the quality to win the World Cup, met in the most anticipated match in football history. Messi was magnificent from the first whistle, creating, running, scoring, at 39 years old, showing the world that Father Time is simply no match for the GOAT. Mbappe responded with the brilliance that makes him the best player in the world right now, every touch electric, every run terrifying, every shot a threat. The match went to extra time, just like 2022, and the tension was unbearable. 82,500 fans inside MetLife Stadium and hundreds of millions watching around the world, all holding their breath. And then, the penalty shootout. Argentina's Emiliano Martinez, the greatest penalty shootout goalkeeper in football history, saved 2 French penalties to send Argentina into delirium. Messi stepped up, cool as ice at 39 years old, and converted the final penalty before throwing his arms open wide, tears streaming down his face, and collapsing to the ground in pure overwhelming joy. Argentina, World Cup champions. Again. Chapter 5: Why it was perfect. So why is this the perfect World Cup final in history? Let us count the reasons. Reason 1: the greatest rivalry, Messi versus Mbappe. The two best players in the world meeting in a World Cup final for the second time in 4 years. No other rivalry in football history has produced two World Cup finals. Reason 2: the perfect revenge story. France were desperate for revenge after losing in 2022 and produced arguably their best ever tournament performance, but still couldn't beat Argentina. Reason 3: Messi's farewell, the GOAT playing his last World Cup final at 39 years old, scoring twice, winning on penalties, and lifting the trophy for the second time. The most beautiful ending to the most beautiful career. Reason 4: Mbappe's tragedy, 3 goals in a final and still losing, the most tragic and most extraordinary individual performance by a losing player in World Cup history. Reason 5: back-to-back champions. Argentina became the first team since Brazil in 1962 to defend the World Cup title, 64 years of history broken by Messi in his last game. Reason 6: the 2022 rematch, same teams, same format, same result. Football's greatest love story written again, 4 years later. Chapter 6: Historical context. Let us put this final in historical context, because what happened on July 19, 2026 deserves to be remembered forever. Messi finished the tournament with the most World Cup goals ever in a single tournament by a player over 35 years old. He is now the only player in history to win 2 World Cups as captain. And he joins an exclusive club of players who have won the World Cup twice alongside legends like Pelé, Vava, Gilmar, and Djalma Santos from Brazil's 1958 and 1962 winning teams. Mbappe finished with 12 goals, setting a new record for goals in a single World Cup tournament under the 48-team expanded format, and his hat-trick in the final makes him the most prolific losing scorer in World Cup final history. France showed that they are the most consistent national team in world football, reaching back-to-back World Cup finals in 2022 and 2026 and challenging Argentina in both, but losing both. And Argentina, under Scaloni, won 3 Copa Americas, 1 World Cup in 2022, and now defended that World Cup in 2026, the most successful national team of the 21st century. Chapter 7: The perfect moment. And now, the final image. The one that will be remembered forever. Lionel Messi, 39 years old, blue and white stripes, tears streaming down his face, lifting the golden FIFA World Cup trophy above his head for the second time at his final World Cup in front of 82,500 screaming fans at MetLife Stadium. The greatest player who ever lived. The greatest tournament of his career. The greatest final in football history. And the greatest ending to the greatest story sport has ever told. Thank you, football. Thank you, Argentina. Thank you, France. Thank you, Mbappe. And most of all, thank you, Messi, for giving us the perfect World Cup final. The perfect World Cup final, Argentina versus France, July 19, 2026, will be remembered forever. What was your favorite moment of the final? Drop it in the comments right now. Let us celebrate this incredible match together. Subscribe to Heartbreak for all the post-tournament coverage. Heartbreak.